Imagine waking up one morning in Chicago, the sky grey and the wind biting, and realizing that everything in your life feels off. Your job sucks, your energy is drained, your relationships are messy, and your health is declining, and you feel trapped, like you're running on autopilot. But today, something inside clicks and you say, enough. I either act now or I stay stuck forever. That's the day. This video is about because there is a method to radically reset your life in a single day. If you approach it with focus, intensity, and brutal honesty. Picture this scene. I was walking down a crowded street in Boston around 7 a.m., watching people sip coffee and scroll their phones rushing to work, with faces that looked tired and resigned, and I met a man named Aaron who told me he had hit rock bottom 3 weeks earlier. He was behind on rent, late on bills, barely speaking to friends, and he felt invisible. He said one night he read about a radical one-day reset and decided he would do it. No excuses, no distractions, and that morning he took steps that shifted the trajectory of his life completely. The reason you should listen is simple. Most people believe change is gradual and subtle, but research in psychology shows that big shifts can occur from what's called temporal landmarks, moments that create psychological separation from your past self, like birthdays, New Year's, or even a single decisive day when you declare enough. This day becomes a pivot point, and your brain is more willing to adopt new behaviors when framed as a fresh start. The first principle of fixing your entire life in one day is radical clarity and honesty. I want you to grab a notebook or your phone and make a list of everything that isn't working in your life. No sugarcoating your health habits, career, finances, relationships, daily routines, your mental state, everything. Aaron in Boston spent 2 hours writing down the truth, and he said it was painful seeing it all on paper, but necessary because your brain can't solve a problem. It refuses to acknowledge. Next is prioritization. Once you have clarity, you need to identify the 3 areas that will have the biggest immediate impact. These are your pillars for the day. Maybe it's finances, health, career, relationships, or mindset studies. In behavioral economics show focusing on fewer, high-leverage actions produces more meaningful results than scattered attempts at fixing everything at once. For health, start simple, focus on one thing your body can respond to quickly, maybe a 30-minute walk in Central Park in New York, or a home workout in Los Angeles, push-ups, squats, or even stretching, because researchers from the American College of Sports Medicine found even moderate physical activity improves mood, cognition, and energy almost immediately, and the act of showing up signals your brain that change is possible. For health, start simple, focus on one thing your body can respond to quickly, maybe a 30-minute walk in Central Park in New York, or a home workout in Los Angeles, push-ups, squats, or even stretching, because researchers from the American College of Sports Medicine found even moderate physical activity improves mood, cognition, and energy almost immediately, and the act of showing up signals your brain that change is possible. For finances, tackle one action with immediate effect. Pay overdue bills, call creditors, negotiate a payment plan, or create a simple budget. Write down income, expenses, and commit to controlling just one leak today. Financial literacy studies consistently show clarity reduces stress and increases perceived control, which improves decision-making and confidence. For mental clarity, eliminate distractions. Create space to think and plan in a quiet corner of your home or a local cafe like in Austin or Toronto. Turn off notifications and spend 30 minutes reflecting on what truly matters using a structured framework like Eisenhower's matrix, separating urgent from important. Tasks can immediately reduce overwhelm. Next principle is decisive action. Aaron made a list of actionable steps and committed to finishing them one by one. He emailed a boss he had avoided asking for clarification on projects. He called his landlord. He scheduled a doctor's appointment. He cooked a healthy meal instead of ordering delivery. Every step reinforced agency and momentum. Psychological studies show momentum builds confidence and reduces decision fatigue, making subsequent actions easier. Another key is environment optimization. Arrange your physical space to support the reset. Remove clutter. Open windows for light and air. Maybe light a candle or play instrumental music. This is not aesthetic fluff. Research from environmental psychology shows clean and organized spaces enhance focus and perceived self-efficacy, which primes the brain to take constructive action. Incorporate micro rituals during the day, small repeated actions, like making your bed, writing a 5-line journal, or standing for a stretch break. These tiny wins creates psychological reward loops as described in studies on habit formation, and Aaron noted that even checking off small boxes gave him energy to tackle bigger challenges. Social recalibration is essential. Schedule 1. Honest conversation or reconnect with someone positively. Influence your day, perhaps calling a friend in Seattle you've lost touch with or sending a thank you note. To a mentor, the act of connection has been linked in social psychology to enhanced mood and resilience and builds momentum for relational repair. Next is mental framing. Cultivate a mindset of do or die. Intensity without panic. The difference is commitment. Versus anxiety, focus your attention on what can be controlled. Today, your thoughts, your actions, your environment. Aaron reframed problems as immediate challenges to overcome, which neuroscience shows activates the prefrontal cortex, improving problem solving and resilience. Exploration phase means identifying small but high-impact experiments within. The day tests new routines or strategies, briefly commit and evaluate. Aaron experimented with a new workout sequence and a cold shower ritual he had resisted for months. The immediate feedback gave him energy and a sense of accomplishment. This aligns with behavioral activation therapy principles used in clinical psychology to combat learned helplessness. Development requires reflection periodically through the day. Spend 5 minutes noting progress and adjusting course based on what is working. Recognize and reward yourself for completed steps. This reinforces neural pathways associated with approach motivation studies. Show reward signals increase the likelihood of repeating constructive behavior. The climax of the day for Aaron came around 9 p.m. in his apartment in Boston. He sat quietly after dinner, reflecting on the day. The pile of notes, checklists, and completed tasks around him was evidence of tangible action, and he realized his mindset had shifted. He felt more capable and less reactive. He described it as seeing a future self he could trust for the first time in years. Research supports this experiential insight effect known as self-perception theory. Your brain interprets your actions as evidence of identity. If you act decisively, you start believing in your capability, and this catalyzes further growth almost instantly. Finally, the conclusion and integration phase involves consolidating the day's actions into a plan for continuation. The day resets priorities and gives clarity, but sustaining change requires creating a bridge to tomorrow. Pick 3 key actions to repeat consistently and schedule them. Daily use environmental cues and micro-rituals to anchor these behaviors and maintain momentum. The key takeaway is that one day can dramatically shift trajectory if approached with radical honesty. Clear prioritization, focused action, environmental optimization, micro-rituals, social recalibration, and decisive mindset. This is not magic, it is applied behavioral science and structured personal strategy implemented in real time. Remember stories like Aaron in Boston, the man in Denver, rebuilding after bankruptcy, the student in Toronto, balancing work and study all illustrate that a focused day can generate momentum and clarity that weeks of passive intention cannot. Start tomorrow, pick your one day, do or die. Reset, follow these principles and watch how decisions, energy and confidence align. Your life begins to pivot not overnight magically, but decisively and visibly, and months from now, people will notice the shift in your presence and your trajectory. Watch the next video to discover the exact follow-up system that turns your one-day reset into lasting transformation.